I've had EO members come up to me and say that exit interviews are a total waste of time. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you not only why they're totally wrong, but how to do them successfully in your forum. I remember a time when I was actually part of an exit interview for a forum where we were doing that exit interview to an empty seat. That is how important the exit interview process is to the life cycle of the forum. An exit interview is actually designed to be able to give closure to the forum as someone or multiple people leave the forum. It also gives them closure for the people who are leaving to be able to say their thanks or of course naturally leave on a high note. Now I know that some exit interviews and some people leaving the forum aren't always positive, and we'll get to that in a moment. But the exit interview process is really important. It allows the forum to close the book on one of the parts or one of the chapters of their forum's life cycle. Because when it comes down to someone leaves forum, it's like losing a family member. And you have to bring everyone back together to then continue down the path with one or two less people in your forum. And if you don't do the exit interview, it's very hard to close that chapter. Next question I get is, Rod, how do you do them? Well, there's two different ways to do them. Let's talk about the hard way first. In other words, you have a member leaving your forum and it's not amicable. There's yelling, there's screaming, there's conflict. Something is making a very negative situation. Now, when it comes down to these things, you would obviously start with the conflict resolution process in EO or whatever you use within your constitution. You try and face those conflicts together as either as an individual or as a group, as a forum, and sometimes you can actually get over that hump before you get to forum. You don't do the conflict resolution in forum while you're trying to do the exit interview. You always do it before. Because as a forum and as a moderator, you then need to make the decision whether that individual or individuals coming to the forum and making an exit interview is actually good not only for them, it's actually good for the forum. That is a critical decision you need to make. Now let's say that you don't invite them to your forum because it's just exploded. I would highly recommend you still do an exit interview, where of course you're all talking to an empty seat. And I'll show you the process of how to do that in a second. But of course, obviously, if that individual does want to come to the forum, I would highly recommend that you control the process. I would highly recommend you do that exit interview at the beginning of the forum, and then at the end of that exit interview, you ask the individual to leave and thank them for their time. So then you can start the forum and start the process of rebuilding. But you'll need to make the decision whether it is valuable to have them there or not. But you still do the exit interview. Now, the next thing is, which leads into the part of what if you have someone who is very positive like myself when I did my exit interview with my forum, what you actually do and how you do it. Okay, firstly, some people do the exit interview at the beginning of the forum or at the end of the forum or some part of the forum process. Some people who do their exit interview at the beginning of the forum, so that individual then leaves the forum after that exit interview, so the remaining members can then continue with forum as per normal. Some people do it at the end of forum. So in other words, the value is still there, then they all say goodbye and then they catch up after the event. It's really up to you which one, because it depends on what type of exit interview and how they're leaving and the dynamic of your forum. Are you inviting new members to it? And so it depends on a lot of things, but when it comes down to it, make sure you set aside between 20 and 30 minutes to do it. Then once you've done the exit presentation, it's very simple. The exit member or members make a presentation to the forum, not only highlighting what they've done in EO, they talk about the forum, what they've learned from the forum, and I would recommend that the individual goes around the table and actually reflects what they'd learned from all the different individuals in the forum, and it gives you closure. It also allows them time to talk about what they're doing next, why they're leaving and so on. For example, for me when I left my forum, I had to leave forum because I had no time. It had nothing to do with them, nothing to do with value, everything to do with my ability to commit to the minimum requirements of being a forum member. And they all understood that and it allowed me to get closure. Funny enough, I'm back in the same forum because I came back after 12 months after it all cleared. And that's because we all did a perfect exit interview. I didn't make that presentation thinking I was coming back. I was making that presentation so the forum could get closure and move on without me. It's funny enough, they moved on and we came back together, which is a good outcome. The next part, once the exiting members made their presentation, you allow time to go around the actual forum and get each individual able to say something to the member. What did they learn? Something positive. What do they love about their membership in Forum? What do you want to say as they're exiting? It's going to be sad, or I look forward to catching up, or whatever the member wants to say. But the one thing you do not do is dig up old wounds or talk about why they shouldn't leave, why it's a bad thing, any negativity. Remember, the decision has been made to leave. This is about closure, not about throwing mud at each other before the door slams behind them. That can be extremely negative, and it'll actually make the next part of the phase very, very difficult. Now, when the member has actually made the exit presentation and they've now left your forum, the next part you have to do is come back together at your next forum. Some people do it at their current forum because the member leaves after their presentation. You now talk about what you're going to do next. Are you inviting a new member into your forum? How are you going to get back together to get things back on track? Because when you lose someone in your forum, as I said, it's like losing a family member. And don't underestimate that impact. And the thing is the only way to do this is to be open and honest. You firstly do the exit interview. You celebrate the time together. You bid them farewell and best of luck. And then you come back together to make the plan of what's next. Because that is probably have to be one of my next videos, because this one's gone too long. So of course, EO's got the forms online of best practice, and they're actually really, really good. They're really easy to follow, and it's something which you can roll out to your forum and get agreement on how you want to handle your exit interviews. But I'll leave you with this really quickly. If someone is leaving your forum, please make sure you have an exit interview, even if they're not there, because it's really, really important for your future forum growth. So if you've got any questions, as normal, just leave them in the comments. I'll be able to answer them for you as best I can. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button so you can get all these videos sent straight to your inbox. And as always, I'll see you very soon in the next video.